Imagine looking up tomorrow night. You expect to see that familiar, gentle light, but instead, you find only a deeper, unbroken darkness, a hole in the fabric of the night sky where the moon should be. The stars would seem sharper, colder, without their soft companion. The world would feel different, quieter. There is a question that follows this image. What would happen if the moon, our constant partner in the cosmos, simply vanished? This is not a story of panic or disaster. It is a slow, calm look at the facts. Quiet, profound changes. We think of the moon as decoration, but its presence is woven into the mechanics of our planet. A silent guardian, a steadying hand, a cosmic metronome. If it disappeared, something fundamental would shift and the Earth would begin to respond. The first and most immediate change would be felt along every coastline on the planet. The moon is the primary conductor of the ocean's grand symphony, the tides. Its gravity pulls on Earth's water, creating a bulge facing the moon, and another on the opposite side. As our planet spins, these bulges move, causing the rhythmic rise and fall of the sea, the ocean's deep, slow breath. If the moon were to disappear, this breath would not cease, but it would become a shallow whisper. The sun also pulls the oceans, but at less than half the moon's strength. The tides would shrink dramatically. The difference between high and low tide would drop by more than 2/3. Giants like the Bay of Fundy would become mere shadows. The daily rhythm governing coastal life would break, throwing fragile intertidal ecosystems into disarray. Mudflats and salt marshes changing in unpredictable ways. Crabs that forage at low tide, mussels that filter at high tide, shorebirds that feast on the abundance. Their world, defined by the moon's pull, would cease to be. Ports built for today's tidal ranges could strand ships as channels shoal and currents shift. Coastal communities would have to adapt or perish. Beyond the oceans, the moon's absence would introduce deeper instability. Earth spins on an axis, an imaginary line from the North Pole to the South Pole. This axis tilts about 23.5 degrees relative to our orbit around the sun. That tilt gives us seasons. For millions of years, that tilt has stayed remarkably stable. We owe much of that stability to the moon, a steadying hand on a spinning top. Without the moon, other gravitational influences would pull our axis into a more chaotic dance. Jupiter, Saturn. Over thousands of years, Earth's tilt could drift, perhaps from near zero to as much as 45 degrees. The climate consequences would be catastrophic. A small change alters seasons dramatically. Summers grow scorchingly hot. Winters descend into unimaginable cold. With a larger tilt, polar regions get more direct sunlight part of the year. Ice caps could melt faster, and our climatic zones would writhe over millennia. Predictable seasons that feed billions would break down. Breadbaskets could become deserts or frozen tundras. The Earth would not die, but it would become a world of extremes, a harsher home for life as we know it. While the moon doesn't drive daily weather, its disappearance would set in motion a chain that reshapes weather patterns. The sun powers weather, but without the moon, energy distribution would change. Much weaker tides mean less ocean mixing. Lunar tides circulate heat, pulling cold water up, mixing the warm. Reduced mixing stratifies oceans and disrupts major currents like the Gulf Stream. Western Europe could grow colder. Monsoons in Asia could shift. Shifts in axial tilt alter temperature contrast from poles to equator, changing jet streams that steer storms. With new paths and intensities, weather becomes more persistent and more extreme. Droughts linger. Rains become deluges. Energy not lost to lunar tide friction remains in the system, potentially fueling stronger storms and surges. Forecasts would grow less reliable. Seasons lose predictability. Humanity would face a sky that's darker and angrier. So yeah, things would get rougher up there. The most obvious change would be the darkness. A full moon can cast shadows, even be read by. Its sudden absence would, plunge nights into profound blackness. For species that navigate, hunt, and mate by lunar light, the rules of the night would change. Consider the sea turtles. For millions of years, hatchlings used the moonlit horizon to find the sea. Without it, the brightest direction may be inland, toward artificial lights. Entire generations could be lost. Many birds use the moon as a beacon during migration. Its disappearance would leave them lost in the vast dark. Owls may gain advantage in deeper darkness, but predators like lions, which hunt by moonlight, could be hindered. The dance of night would be thrown into chaos. Even zooplankton time their migrations with the lunar cycle, ripples that reach the great whales. Some plants hold rhythms tied to moonlight. The moonflower opens at night to meet its pollinators. With the cue removed, delicate partnerships falter. Coral spawning is synchronized to lunar phases. Without that clock, reproduction could fail, threatening already fragile reefs. Life on Earth is a web of connections, and the moon is one of its most important threads. The loss of the moon would leave a wound, not only in our planet's mechanics, but also in the human soul. For as long as we've been human, we've looked up. The moon has been our calendar, our nighttime guide, our muse, our god. It's embedded in our languages, our myths, our art, our science. To remove it is to erase a part of ourselves. The night sky would feel empty, and so would our collective imagination. The word lunatic would lose its origin. Across civilizations, the moon measured time. The very word month is born from moon. Many calendars are lunar or lunisolar. Its disappearance would be a profound cultural disruption. Our most ancient clock, stopped forever. Think of the art, the poetry, the music, Van Gogh's crescent moon, Debussy's moonlight and sound. The moon as goddess, trickster, lonely face, mystery, romance, madness, transformation, a universal symbol shared by all. It was our first step off-world. One small step would name a place that no longer exists. Dreams of lunar bases would vanish, and we'd be more alone. Beyond tides and climate, subtler forces stir. The Earth isn't rigid. The moon pulls on crust as well as ocean. Ground rises and falls by centimeters in a land tide that follows the moon. That gentle flexing releases tiny amounts of stress. Remove that force and stress patterns change abruptly, everywhere at once. The moon doesn't cause earthquakes, plate tectonics do. But tidal stresses can be the final straw for a fault at its threshold. Scientists would watch with concern. New tidal patterns would redraw our coasts, beyond the daily rise and fall. Without lunar counterpull, Earth's rotational bulge becomes slightly more pronounced, raising sea level in the tropics, lowering it near the poles. Some low islands could drown. New land might emerge in high latitudes. Lunar tides act as a brake on Earth's spin, lengthening days over eons. Remove the primary brake, and our rotation's future shifts to lesser forces. Not an immediate crisis, but a profound sign. The world's internal clock, reset on a different course. The story of a moonless Earth is an unraveling, not a single catastrophe, but 1,000 systems coming apart. Changes to tides, climate, darkness, and rotation would feed one another, creating feedbacks that amplify disruption. Imagine agriculture over centuries. One generation's temperate stability becomes their grandchildren's brutal heat or encroaching ice. People would move constantly, chasing shifting zones of habitability. Scarcity breeds conflict over arable land, fresh water, safe coasts. Relentless pressure drives extinctions. Species tied to stable seasons, moonlight cues, tidal flows face impossible odds. Ecosystems collapse as keystone species vanish. Life would survive, hardy, adaptable organisms finding new niches, but biodiversity would be drastically impoverished. We built our world on stability. Our infrastructure, economies, energy systems designed for the planet we inherited, not the one reshaped. We'd face an engineering and societal challenge of unprecedented scale. Fortifying coasts, rethinking agriculture, adapting to erratic weather. We would live in constant reaction, patching a system whose fundamental supports have been removed. And so we stand on the shore of this imaginary world. The night is dark, the sea is strangely calm. The air holds a new chill. Thinking about the loss of the moon humbles us. Earth is not an island of life. It's part of a delicate cosmic machine. The moon's steady presence is a gift, a gravitational anchor that creates a wider, safer harbor for life. This thought is not for fear, but for perspective. Our conditions are not guaranteed. Life thrives within a narrow window. Distance from the sun, the air we breathe, liquid water, the steadying influence of a large moon, all working in concert. Remove one, and the symphony changes. The music becomes dissonant, unfamiliar. We live in a sliver of cosmic time, on a world uniquely suited to us for now. The moon is a silent testament to that fact, a reminder of our home's fragility and its preciousness, and of how everything is connected. This is the quiet warning. A change in one part of the system touches all the others. It is a cosmic lesson in humility. When you look up at the moon tonight, see it for what it truly is. Not just a rock, but a partner, a stabilizer, an ancient clock, a guardian of our tides, a keeper of our seasons. The sky would be much darker without it. Our understanding would be poorer. We are, in a real sense, children of the moon, and without it, we would live in a colder, darker, lonelier world.